Inside this building, sound becomes something you can hold. Every single day, thousands of vinyl records are born here. Black discs that will carry music across the world. But the process behind them is nothing like you might imagine. It involves molten plastic, machines older than the internet, and pressures powerful enough to crush metal. One small mistake, and an entire batch of records is ruined. So, how does a factory turn raw plastic into the music spinning on millions of turntables? Today, we're going inside the mysterious world of vinyl manufacturing. This is how millions of vinyl records are made inside a massive record pressing factory. For decades, vinyl records were the king of music. Long before streaming, before CDs, before even cassette tapes, music lived on spinning discs. But by the early 2000s, vinyl almost disappeared. Factories shut down. Machines were scrapped. Entire pressing plants vanished. It looked like the format was dead. And then something strange happened. Vinyl came back. Not slowly, explosively. Today, millions of records are pressed every year. And demand is so high that factories struggle to keep up. But making a vinyl record isn't just manufacturing. It's chemistry, precision engineering, and a process that hasn't changed much in over 70 years. And it all begins with something surprisingly simple. Tiny plastic pellets, the raw material. At first glance, the raw material looks harmless. Small black beads, and no bigger than grains of rice. But these tiny pellets are the foundation of every record ever made. They're made from polyvinyl chloride, or PVC, a plastic strong enough to last decades, yet flexible enough to vibrate with microscopic sound waves. Every single record starts as thousands of these pellets. They pour into massive industrial hoppers. From there, they disappear into the heart of the machine. But something unexpected happens next. Before the plastic can become a record, it must become something else entirely. A glowing, molten mass. Melting the vinyl. Deep inside the pressing machine, heat begins to rise. Temperatures climb past 160 degrees Celsius. The pellets soften, then melt, then fuse together, until they form a thick, rubber-like blob. Workers call it a vinyl biscuit. It doesn't look like music. It doesn't even look like plastic anymore. Just a glowing puck of molten material. But this blob holds enormous potential, because within seconds, it will become a record, or it will fail completely. And when the press closes, the real magic begins. The master mold. Before a single record can be pressed, something far more delicate must be created. A metal mold containing an entire album. Every song, every note, every vibration. The process begins with a master lacquer disc. Engineers cut microscopic grooves into its surface using a diamond needle. Those grooves are the music. Literally. Each tiny movement represents sound. But the lacquer is fragile. Too fragile for mass production. So engineers transform it into metal. Through electroplating, the lacquer becomes a metal stamper, a perfect negative of the music. This stamper will soon press thousands of records. But even here, danger hides. Because a single speck of dust could destroy an entire production run. And here's the crazy part. Those grooves on a vinyl record are unbelievably small. The needle on your turntable tracks movements smaller than a human hair. If a groove shifts by even a fraction of a millimeter, the music distorts, which means the pressing machines must operate with terrifying precision. And now, the molten vinyl biscuit meets the stamper, the pressing machine. The pressing machine looks like something from another era. Heavy steel frames, hydraulic pistons, steam pipes hissing with heat. Some of these machines were built in the 1960s, and they still run every day. The molten vinyl biscuit is placed between two metal stampers. Labels are added on both sides. Then the press closes. Hard. Hydraulic pressure slams down with over 100 tons of force. At the same time, steam heats the vinyl even further. The soft plastic spreads outward, filling every microscopic groove in the stamper. Within seconds, the record takes shape. But the process isn't finished yet, because if the record leaves the press too soon, it will warp, and the music will never sound right. Rapid cooling. Once the grooves are formed, the machine instantly changes temperature. Cold water rushes through internal pipes. The vinyl cools and hardens. This step must happen fast, but not too fast. Cool too slowly, and the production line stalls. Cool too quickly, and the record cracks. Factories constantly balance this delicate timing. Seconds matter. And when the press finally opens, a brand new vinyl record emerges. But it still isn't ready for music lovers, because it looks strange. Trimming the edges. Freshly pressed records have rough edges. Thin plastic rings around the disc like excess dough. Workers call this flash. Special trimming machines spin the record at high speed. Sharp blades cut away the extra material, leaving behind a perfectly round shape we recognize. But even now, the factory isn't done, because not every record survives this journey. Some contain hidden flaws, tiny imperfections you might never see, but listeners would definitely hear. Quality control. Inspectors examine each record carefully. They look for scratches, warping, surface bubbles, anything that could ruin playback. Some factories even test random records on turntables. If a single defect appears, the entire batch may be rejected, thousands of records destroyed. It's a brutal process, but necessary, because vinyl fans are incredibly demanding. They expect perfection. And after all this work, the record finally moves to the last stage, packaging. But here's something most people don't realize. Pressing the record is only half the story, because without artwork, a vinyl record is just plastic, and the sleeves that hold these records have their own massive production process, printing the album artwork. In another part of the factory, giant printing presses roar to life. Sheets of cardboard rush through rollers. Ink splashes across the surface. Album covers appear in vibrant color. Some designs require multiple print passes, special coatings, even metallic finishes. Each sleeve is cut, folded, and glued with precision. But there's one final moment before the record reaches the outside world. The moment everything comes together. Final assembly. Workers slide each vinyl record into its inner sleeve, then into the album cover. The finished product finally looks familiar. A complete vinyl record album. Ready for stores. Ready for collectors. Ready to spin on turntables around the world. And every single one began the same way, as tiny plastic pellets. Inside a single pressing plant, thousands of records can be produced every day, each carrying music that will travel across continents, from rock albums to jazz classics to brand new releases, all pressed using machines that combine heat, pressure, and microscopic precision, machines that transform plastic into sound. It's an industrial process, but also an art form, one that refuses to disappear. In a world dominated by digital music, vinyl records remain something special, a physical connection to sound, a spinning archive of human creativity. And behind every record is a factory where heat, pressure, and engineering bring music to life. Millions of discs, thousands of albums, all created through a process that has survived for generations. Proof that sometimes the old ways still sound the best. If you enjoy going inside this incredible factory process, make sure you subscribe, because there are thousands of fascinating machines, factories, and hidden industries most people never see, and we're just getting started.